And welcome back. In our final segment, let's take some time to go over some upcoming items that should be of note to all of you with an interest in CMS. And we start with the need to build more schools, more students. We need more room, more schools. I think that takes us into the capital plan and or perhaps bonds.
Yeah, so as part of our functions in our school district, we create a 10-year capital needs assessment. The board reviews that, and so our board has voted and our county commissioners have voted to allow a ballot question to go on in November around a bond campaign for CMS. And so it's a little over $294 million that would allow for 17 projects that will address overcrowding, aging facilities, more academic programming into our schools. We're really excited about it. With the last bond for CMS was in 2007. We have delivered on that bond promise, and so we have done all the things, or we're in the finalization of the things that were put in the 2007 bond, and all of those projects have either come in on time or under budget, and so we think we have been good fiduciary officers of the taxpayer dollars. These 17 projects we're excited about. When people say, well, $294 million, is that a lot of money? Well, of course it's a lot of money. It does not raise anybody's taxes. I think that's important to state. But the other thing, too, is comparison to other large school districts. Houston, which is a little bit bigger than us, but not so much, just recently passed a $1.7 billion bond capital program. Montgomery County, same size as we are in Maryland, about a $2 billion bond initiative. And Wake County, up to our north, about the same size as CMS, is getting ready to vote on a $900 million capital bond campaign. So our $294 million certainly isn't all of our needs, but these are desperately needed projects that again will address overcrowding and especially aging facilities.
Do you think you'll have the votes to make that, and how will CMS talk to the public about that and getting those votes?
Yeah, well, you know, so our job is to make sure that we're putting out information, and when asked to be able to talk about those 17 projects, why they're needed, how we would initiate them, what would the time frame be for them, and so we're making sure that we're getting that information out. Our Chamber of Commerce actually leads the bond campaign for CMS and for the community college, and we're working collaboratively with them. We're very supportive of what the community college is trying to do. And so we simply make sure that we're providing the public with good information about this proposed bond campaign, but also to update the good work that was done in the 2007 bond campaign.
In the past. Okay, the bond comes up in November, so we'll talk about that again as well. Your task force, you had 22.
Not my task force, the school district's task force.
The school district's task force.
They're called the Superintendent Task Force. There's 22 of them. 22
of them, and I believe you've gotten some information back, some pretty good information.
Great information.
What did you get back, and how will you use that?
Well, again, our goal all along was to look at our strategic plan, which is really our benchmark for defining success. It's really critically important for any organization to be able to say, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and this is how we're going to measure it, and this is how we're going about that important work. And so as we have been revising our strategic plan, it started with my entry last year, coming forward with the plan, the way forward, and then wanting to do even more outreach and listening to our public. So the creation of 22 task forces on multiple topics that were lifted up during that time of entry, with community leaders, political leaders, faith-based leaders, our employees, parents, students, all being a part of those task forces, over 400 individuals. And so what they have done is to give us great recommendations, great ideas. We have published those ideas. They're available on our website. And so we're excited about now reviewing those recommendations and incorporating many of them into our evolving strategic plan.
So we'll begin to see those in place.
Well, I think what's important is to go through each recommendation to say, hey, these are great ideas. We think we can do those immediately. Here are some ones that are going to take some budget and now into the future to accomplish. Here are some that we're going to have to do further examination. But what we will do is we will respond to every task force recommendation and put out a report to honor the great work that was done by our community.
Okay, a lot of community work.
Indeed.
One last question, the strategic goals or the plan, any time frame on when that might be revealed?
Yeah, so we will take to the Board of Education for their approval our goals and our targets that will be in our strategic plan. That will happen on October the 8th. And then shortly thereafter, we will unveil our revised strategic plan, talk about what it is that we're trying to accomplish, how we're going to accomplish it, and I'm really excited about that. Again, I'm really, what I'm so excited about and encouraged about is the deep listening that we've done to our community, listening to our employees, listening to our principals. What I've loved is going out to schools and having a teacher come up and say, hey, Dr. Morrison, let me tell you about a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal that we hope is going to be in the strategic plan, because ultimately a plan that's shared by our employees, a plan that's shared by our community, everybody's invested in, and ultimately it does take a village to educate a child.
Definitely. Professional learning communities is what it sounds like.
A big professional learning committee, which is our amazing community and their support of our public education system.
We've had a chance to talk about a lot of things. We'll have to table some of those, but I think we've had a pretty good conversation about it.
See, and remember, it's just the beginning of our new school year, so
Yes,
we have time.
Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us for this discussion with the superintendent. We hope you learned something that will help you become an informed parent, an energized employee, or an engaged community member. Your support is important to the success of CMS. We'll see you the next time with more insight.